Hey guys, my name's Alex Barham. This is going to be my walkthrough guide to paddling the bottom moose and bottom moose sections. This video is brought to you by Mountain Man Outdoor Supply. They're the dealer 30 minutes away. We do demos and all sorts of great stuff for the community. Please check them out. And by NRS, who keep me outfitted with an amazing kit of gear, and I honestly wouldn't be able to do a lot of this stuff without them. If you haven't already, please also subscribe to my channel. And with that, let's get started. Before you get to Agers, if you're paddling down from Double Drop, you have to portage around a huge dam. This actually runs at really high flows, starting all the way to the left, cascading down, and postage stamping onto a huge undercut wall. Push off of it, get all the way left, and keep going. If you get sucked under the undercut, or anything on the right side, it is all enormous sieves, and whew. Across the pond you'll find Agers. This starts off with a headwall dam. You're going to enter all the way on the right, about 5 feet to the right of the bend in the dam. Slide down and look for the wave train that's heading to the horizon line. It is incredibly important that you run this to the right of center. The left side feeds into an enormous undercut. Boof out on the beautiful boof ledge and just run the run out straight down. Bunch of boogie water, and then we show up at Sureform. Sureform is an enormous slide with 2 distinct channels. The right side of Sureform is very straightforward, but the issue comes in the entrance. If you miss the entrance, you will go into a bad place. So starting about 2/3 of the way right in the channel, you are going to point left to about 10 o'clock and start waiting for your moment. The idea is to accelerate as hard as you can at the right moment to just barely clip by the left rock that protrudes out across the line. As you sneak by that, the whole slide will open up in front of you, and there'll be a little staircase down to the bottom. Pretty much once you pass that rock, you know if you're good to go or not. The left side of Sureform is a really creaky tree. So you start off with a boof into kind of a crazy Hawaii 5-0 crashing wave that shoots you out into another little slide, and then you get to a staging eddy. From that staging eddy below, you can see that there's a lot of water hitting a big rock and what looks like a hole. That hole that goes all the way across is actually an enormous piton rock the water is boiling off of. And if you go straight into it, you'll piton your brains out. So peel out, point the boat all the way to 3 o'clock, and go down the slide waiting for that side hit to shoot you out. Be careful. If you get your shoulder really high when you hit the rock, you can pop it out of the socket. The other line, which only works at certain high flows, is to go all the way left against the enormous rock and sneak past the piton rock on the left. Pretty high consequence. If you miss, it's going to be a pretty big hit. Getting towards the end, we arrive at Sureform. Sureform is the simplest rapid on the Moose. It's really just a class 3, but the eddy hopping is usually where people get tripped up. There are some really cool eddies to catch in there, including the doghouse, which is almost blind as you come down the river. But the bottom has 2 stacked holes. So if you lose all your momentum or go in sideways, those holes are going to pound the snot out of you. So if you want a simple time, go straight, stay a little bit on the right, and just go as fast as you can and cruise through there. If you want to spice things up, work on some skills, get the hair on the back of your neck up, go catch some eddies. So far, so good? Cool. Welcome to Crystal. The Crystal starts immediately at the bottom of Powerline, and in fact, at high water, we just call it Power Crystal because it's all one rapid. So, left side, you'll see an eddy. That's where you go to scout most of the rapid. You'll find right below you is Alpine Line. This is an iconic staircase. It drops down super fast. You got 3 moves to do in about 3 seconds. and it is just one of my favorite things to do on the moose. Start all the way on the left so that your shoulder is just under the scout shelf. Look for a tiny little white rock right before you get to the lip and charge. You want to just clip past that rock and not stop paddling until you hit the bottom. It is more important to be going fast at the right angle than to actually get your boof strokes. The reason alpine line pushes so hard right is to avoid a pothole right after the entrance and then keep you from falling on your head onto rocks about 20 feet down. The main line on Crystal goes through 2 horseshoes which are located in the center. You'll find a random rock all the way up on the entrance of the river. Start just left of the rock and enter the horseshoes at about 7 o'clock. The first one is just a slide to a little boof, and then the second one is sort of a delayed boof off the rock. Once you get that second boof, you're now in the elevator shaft, and you have 2 options. The first option is to go off the boof. This is the classic line and the one that runs all the way down to when the river is totally dry. Turn the corner and look for the landing before you pull the stroke. The second line is race line. This is a higher water move and a much simpler way to get down the river. Point straight at the peak where you can see the water falling to the right and go straight off with a right stroke. You're going to land in a bit of a jumble, but it's all good. Definitely don't want to run this when it's low. You're going to piton your brains out. The summer line on Crystal is called the Whalesback. Starting from the staging eddy all the way down on the right side of the river by the horseshoes, do a long ferry all the way into the eddy between the 2 horseshoes, and then continue the run normally. Crystal marks basically the end of the bottom. However, there is one bonus left. You now will show up at a dam, and there are 2 options. All the way on the left, you have Magilla, which is a just crazy looking boof into a huge slot. Gets a lot of people's attention. It has a weird entrance. You're really going to need to take the time and figure it out for yourself. But best advice is get there fast and pull a really good stroke. Matilda is the drop you'll find all the way on the right side. And a lot more people run Matilda than they do Magilla. What usually intimidates people about Matilda is that it lands on a really hard rock at the bottom of the dam. The best way to line it up is the top of the dam has a couple little concrete circles in there. There's one that lines up right above a curler that shoots off towards 2 o'clock. If you drop off the dam with a little bit of forward speed going 2 o'clock and just line up perfectly on that curler, it's a super soft hit. Word to the wise, if you're running Matilda and you land, you didn't feel anything, it's too high. Too late now. Once you land, you're going to pinball through a couple slots and find yourself slowing down right at a left-hand turn. Super important you take your time to get composed. Look for the rooster tail at the bottom and try to just smash it as hard as you can, going straight out or towards the right. If you land pointing left, which is what you're prone to do, very good chance you could wind up in a cave, and especially at high water, you cannot get out of there without assistance. Don't be upset if you corkscrew the landing to the left on Matilda. All that water landing on the left side of your stern tends to flip you that way. If you lean against the current, you usually have much better results. All right, so that's it, right? Wrong. At big water, right below the takeout, there's actually one more drop. That one's called spine compressor. Reason's pretty obvious. There is an amazing boof that opens up all the way on the left, and there's a zigzag line that opens all the way on the right. I'm going to leave you to figure that out. Thanks a lot. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and stay safe out there. There's a little diagonal curler right on the side of this rock sticking up.